What's up, guys? Coach Miles here from My Performance, and today we're discussing why strength development is beneficial regardless of your goal. Okay, strength is the mother of all qualities. Prior to diving in, we must give credit where it's due. This is not an original quote. It was originally stated by successful German kinesiology professor and exercise scientist Dietmar Schmidt-Bleicher. So, strength is the umbrella under which all other qualities are developed, having positive effects on power, speed, hypertrophy, endurance, and overall longevity, just to name a few. Okay? So first and foremost, what is strength? Strength refers to producing the highest amount of force we possibly can, irrespective of the time it takes to do so. Meaning, I'm sure we can all think of those times we've hit those 1 rep maxes where that 1 rep feels like it takes an eternity. That's a true display of strength. How can we measure it? Multiple ways. We can measure our eccentric, our concentric, or isometric 1 rep maxes. Typically, we do our eccentric 1RM is what's the heaviest weight that we can lower under control. Typically, we set the standard that the rep has to take 5 seconds just for safety. Anything coming down much faster will probably be way too heavy and increase the likelihood of injury, so 5 seconds is a good standard. Our concentric 1 rep max is that classic, how much can you lift, how much you bench, how much you squat, how much you deadlift, controlling it down and then exploding up. And then the max isometric typically would take some different specialized equipment, like a force plate, for example, but we could do like a mid-thigh pull, okay, against like overcoming isometrics, against the pins, and we could also measure our isometric 1 rep max. So how does strength influence power? Well, in the context of training, power refers to applying a large amount of force quickly. So if you can't apply a large amount of force in the first place, good luck being powerful. Okay, here we have a still picture of our man Tanner Main, power snatching a pretty impressive 70 kilos in the blink of an eye. All right, to put this in context, this specific athlete can deadlift over 140 kilos. Good luck completing this lift if your max deadlift is only 80 kilos. Whether you want to argue that about the use of Olympic lifts in power development is a discussion for another day, but the principles of increased max strength assisting in the expression and development of power remain the same. Speed. Being stronger can help apply more force in the ground per stride. Okay? Strength also helps to hold better posture while sprinting. Coach Charles Poliquin said it best, the athlete who gets better at chin-ups will run faster. Again, of course, it's very simplified, and getting faster is multifaceted, but being stronger definitely helps contribute. Strength also helps the athlete to withstand forces endured while sprinting. Okay, at top speed, your very fast athletes can experience around 5 times body weight worth of ground reaction forces per step. Of course, this is not to say that we're going to have a 200-pound athlete split squatting 1,000 pounds to prepare for sprinting. That's obviously impossible, but having a base of strength and structural balance can help prepare the tissues to sprint. Okay, so this video here, we'll play it real quick. We have 2 athletes performing a 10-yard acceleration drill, and this brief video will demonstrate and reiterate the fact that the first 10 yards acceleration is largely governed by strength when we're trying to have our athletes go from 0 to 100 real quick. Okay, so in this example, the athlete on the left clearly gets out of the start position much faster, more efficiently. Keep in mind, this is absolutely not a knock on our athlete on the right, as he's an extremely hard worker. It's simply demonstrating the fact that the athlete on the left, who is 8 years older and has had much more years of strength training and time under the bar, is able to display this strength better in the first 10 and use it to accelerate. So we'll just watch this video real quick. One more time. Okay, he takes about 6.5 or less steps in that first 10, where athlete on the right takes closer to 8 or 9. Efficient and powerful strides, getting out of the blocks, or again going from 0 to 100. World-renowned performance coach Boo Schexnayder said it best: you squat for your first 10, clean for your next 20, and the rest is sprinting. Size. So, even when working in those typical hypertrophy rep ranges, for the sake of argument today, let's say 6 to 12 reps, okay? The stronger individual will be able to use heavier weights. More weight used for the same volume is going to equal more gains, obviously. Okay, so as a brief example, if 2 athletes are performing your typical 4 sets of 10, 65% of their 1 rep max, the athlete with the 200 kilo max will be using 130 kilos for the working sets, while the athlete with a 100 kilo max will only be using 65 kilos for the working sets. I'll leave it to you to decide whose muscles are experiencing more mechanical tension, among other things, and will have a stronger signal for growth. Endurance. So, While max strength may not be the most important quality in improving endurance, it can definitely help. This is especially true for those endurance athletes who've stuck strictly to endurance work for their whole career and they've never spent any time developing strength. It can truly be the low-hanging fruit that can be a game changer and help take their athletic performance to the next level. Athletes can expect to experience increased resilience to injury, right? Injury mitigation, we can never claim injury prevention, improved running economy in the case of a runner, or stroke efficiency in the case of a rower, for example. Okay, max versus operational output. We've spoken about this in length in the past, but I'm just going to bring it up again here real quick. Think about a muscular endurance test like the 225 bench press test in football, okay? Doing a bunch of endurance training with submaximal weights may feel like the right decision, which could definitely help, but if we could only pick one thing to develop, we would be best suited to worry about increasing our 1 rep max in the bench more importantly, okay? For the athlete who can bench 400 pounds, that 225 test is about 55% of their 1 rep max. Anybody can rep out 55% of their 1 RM for a high number of reps. If you're looking to get a lot of reps on combine day and your max is 235 pounds only, best of luck to you. Longevity. As we know, proper strength training can and should lead to improved mobility and stability. Keyword being proper, of course, with tempos controlled and training through a full range of motion on a proper training plan. As individuals get older, they are at a higher risk from being injured due to falls, but those older individuals who continue to strength train are actually at a lower risk of falls due to being stronger and having better balance. Okay? We also know that older individuals, especially women, are at an increased risk of osteoporosis, right? Decreased bone mineral density. Strength training can help maintain the bone density and decrease the risk of fractures if these older individuals do unfortunately happen to slip or fall over. Filling in the gaps. Should we be trying to chase so-called sports specificity in training? Listen, if you believe that standing on a Bosu ball and swinging your golf club, hockey stick, or baseball bat is the best use of time in training, then that's your prerogative. However, the reality is, while athletes do need a variety of abilities to compete at their highest possible level, strength is one of the few they cannot get at practice. I wouldn't expect, or at least I hope, the hockey coach is not bringing barbells onto the ice, and the rowing coach certainly is not bringing dumbbells into the boat, hoping to use their practice time to get stronger or more powerful. Our job as strength coaches is to complement what the sport coaches are having their athletes do, help fulfill their vision for these athletes, and help the athletes build a strong, robust, resilient body that can withstand practice volumes and demands so that the sport coaches can use their time optimally to develop the skills needed to dominate the competition. Bit of a disclaimer. Is max strength the only thing we need to train? Of course not. Okay? Hopefully we just painted a picture above of how strength is not the only important quality, and it simply enhances our ability to develop all the other qualities that typically really, truly matter in sports like speed, power, and agility. Can your athletes apply their strength? Of course this is the most important thing. As we know, there are plenty of athletes out there who could squat and bench a whole house, but could not get out of their own way. Is there a point of being strong enough? Yes, there is, okay? There are some arbitrary numbers established that we should have athletes trying to obtain. For example, it's been suggested that 1.5 times body weight squat for females and 2 times body weight squat for males is plenty. Okay, these are good goals to chase as far as a base level of strength, with anything above that providing diminishing returns. Chad Wesley Smith, pictured here on the right, an incredible strength coach and powerlifting athlete, is by his own admission not a great sprinter or team sport athlete, okay? Most team sport athletes would of course likely beat him in a sprint or jumping test. Once we get into powerlifting, these athletes are moving incredible weights, okay? Squatting 3 to 4 times body weight, for example. Of course, they're extremely specialized and dedicated to their specific training, and chasing those numbers would take time and effort away from things that truly matter and making our team sport athletes better. But again, having a base of strength definitely helps. What about skill? As mentioned, the baseball player who can deadlift 500 pounds and bang out 20 chin-ups but can't hit or throw the ball is useless, okay? So this is why we often mention that it's our job as strength coaches to help the athletes build the engine, and then the sport coaches can teach them how to drive the car. It's not optimal to have one of these without the other, okay? It's supposed to be a marriage of what we can help the athlete with, and then what the sport coach can help the athlete with for them to realize their true potential. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. That's it for this week. As always, feel free to hit us up on social media if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. If anybody's interested in learning more about this, we would love to help educate. Until next time.